All right, good morning everyone. It's 6:25. It's June 25, 2024, 9:54 in the morning, and I am just looking at what the SPY is doing right now. SPY is an inside bar, so I don't have any open. I don't have any open positions yet. Um, we started a bit late today, so we will wait until we get to see our setup. So pre-market high with SPY is 554 with a pre-market low of 542. Looks like we're having a little bit of a pullback. Nvidia 3 days ago already had a pullback. Still is an inside bar just like the SPY. CCL, another gap up here. So we are reaching that level. Very interesting level right there. 17. Let's see the high of this candlestick, 1757 or 1764, which it already touched. Pre-market low here is at 15.85. We are watching Tesla as well. Tesla, same thing as SPY, which is an inside bar. So pre-market low here with a pre-market high of 184. Apple here is an inside bar. You can already tell what kind of a day we are gonna have. If it's an inside bar, then we are on a range bound kind of day. So it's gonna be a bit challenging to trade because the easy trade is on a trend day, and that is those big gap up, big gap down. So pre-market low here is, I'm watching now NNE 21.36. Pre-market high is at 25.79. Let's see the float here. Float here is 15.6 million. No wonder it looks very low float move, and it is a low float stock. ENVX is, let's see, a float of 140 million, so not a low float stock. Pre-market low here, including the wick, 12.15 with a pre-market high of 14.89. SEDG is our, wow, gap down here, which already formed a setup in the 5 minutes. So pre-market low with a pre-market high. Let's see, CRM is not doing anything. So yeah, most of the stocks that we're watching is a gap up. This one is a float of 1.8 million, very low float stock. So this one is gonna be a very volatile stock. Be very careful with this. It already moved from $5 all the way to 18. SE here. SE is interesting. Has a volume of 2.3 million pre-market low with a pre-market high. And how about AMD? Microsoft is an inside bar. Nothing really interesting there. AMD having a pullback. Wow. AMD had a pullback of 160s all the way to 156. Looks like have a potential for a bounce here for AMD. Let's look at the support. So next support at AMD is 155. We do have a support right here as well, looking at the daily. What is SPY doing? SPY is just flat, still has some room to go down. AMD looks like do have a potential for a bounce here. 157, 156, 70 cents wrist. All right, so entering long AMD here for a bounce play. Just the test is so tight. Okay. So stop loss here is 156.64. We have to be aware that SPY is not done having that pullback as well. So it's going to be a tight stop loss here. Stop loss is the low of the day, 56. That's why we have just a small position here. If we break above this resistance right here, then we can add to that position. But right now, we're keeping our share small. CCL is creating a 9 EMA play here where it's touching the 9 EMA, a huge gap up, touch the 9 EMA. If the 9 EMA acts as support, then this can be a potential for a long. Back to AMD here. AMD can still go at either direction, but the 15 minutes looks like we have found a support right here at S4. So thinking of adding to that position. SPY as well, looks like found a support. CCL is bouncing here. I am doing a 9 EMA play on CCL. AMD, I did not get to add to the position, but yeah, still retesting that support. So let's see if I'm gonna step out versus I'm gonna be adding to the position at the break of the resistance. So AMD still testing that support. Stop loss is 56.48. Trying to see if there's any other setup. All right, so we're getting close to getting stop out of AMD. CCL, this one is already broke that level. About to get stop out here as well. All right, so all out at CCL, that did not work, not ready yet. AMD here, it tested the support. Strong support at 56. All right, that support right here, 56, acted as a strong support. So I added to that. As soon as it went to 156, we found a strong support. Looking at the 15 here, 15 minutes looking very bullish. Added to my position as well. So now I am building up my position on AMD. 15 minutes looking bullish. We are now encountering that resistance again. Apple created a nice bull flag pattern here where you have a nice pullback and now pushing up. Just looking at Rivian here as well. Rivian is up by 3%. It was strong yesterday. All right, so added to my position here in AMD, a bit aggressive with the add. But we did had that confirmation. So we are now above the VWAP. We still have, so we're encountering the resistance there. SPY is above the VWAP as well, so that's gonna help our AMD trade. This ad right here is a bit aggressive. All right, so 5 minutes above VWAP. Getting ready here. Having a pullback here. We are still in that doji looking. That's a big rejection happened at 157.65. It was, if I was aggressive, I could have added this position, but I just didn't like that. That was a big rejection that happened at 57. So now we are back to the VWAP. Back at the VWAP here. All right, you see all those prints. So now, yeah, testing that resistance again. Once this resistance is broken, 57.85, then we can have a bigger move here. We are now at the VWAP. Big volume bar push through here. Now this is the decision. This is the resistance that 57.85 that it's trying to break off of. So 73, 70s. It's still having that resistance here. So if this resistance is not broken, then it's most likely gonna fail because of that big rejection that we saw earlier. All right, lots of green prints right here. $73, $75, looking at the tape. All right, we're pushing here. 85, I'm looking for a print for 85. 85 here, still having that resistance. 70, 69. All right, 85, rejection again. Big rejection, big order, push through here. 80s, we are 80s, 85. All right, this is the decision. Okay, now we are, okay, took some partial there. That was the move that we were waiting for. So this one is looking good. So we went above that strong resistance. Now that we are above that resistance, all right, this one is looking good. Big order sitting right here, that's bearish. We are heading. So just managing this trade. Countering resistance there, partial again. That's the 9 EMA there. So $58.14, looking at the tape, encountering another resistance here, 15. Big resistance there, partial again. We are encountering that strong support yesterday out, and then now just trailing my stop loss here below the 9 EMA. So stop loss is below the 9 EMA. If this encounters strong resistance and rejection, then I'm out of this trade. Next one. Oh boy, CCL is back on the 9 EMA trade. So entered long CCL here. This is the 9 EMA play. It's close to AMD, stopped me out. Looks like it still has some momentum to go up, but it stopped me out, which is totally fine. CCL here, added to my position. We are now encountering VWAP. That's going to be a strong resistance as well. Tesla looking nice. Just because I added to the VWAP as well, I'm gonna have a tight stop loss here just below the 9 EMA. Trying to see if there's any. This stock right here, very weak stock. This can be a potential for a short if it goes below this level. Goes below 27.75. We're going to be shorting this stock because of that inverted hammer right here. It's a gap down and rejection at the VWAP. So float here is 56 million, not a low float. So I'm waiting for this stock to go below 27.72, and that's a place for me to short this. All right, so AMD stop us out, but yeah, we are already made a good profit out of that. CCL still at the VWAP right here. This, not really proud about that ad right here, but I was in the middle of AMD trade, but the best entry here for a 9 EMA is 17.4, but considering that it's just a couple of cents away, I entered, and right here 17.22 added to my position to the long. So thesis here is it's a gap down, although the 15 minutes is not the best looking, but low probability trade, but this can be potential for a short. When it goes below 27.86 shorted, stop loss is above 28.4. CCL is moving. Tesla, wow, Tesla here from 182 to 186. Rivian still looks like it still has some room to go. All right, waiting for a push higher here. CCL is now above this 9 or this VWAP. 17.36, 36. Okay, got paper hands here just because initial trade was red. So I closed the position with that move, but looks like it still has some move to do. So let's see if I can, looking for a little bit of a pullback at the VWAP so I can re-enter to the long. 1736. All right, re-enter there. This one, 37. I was thinking of just partialing, but went all out. So this is not the best setup here. You're far from the VWAP, you're far from the support. So yeah, not the best setup here. We'll be out at the VWAP here. Seventeen 36, 39, 40. 40. It's not going. All right, so not going. I just went all out. All right, next one. This is the short, possible short that we're looking for if it goes below 27.75. Now what I can see here is initially I have that thesis, but I have to cancel the thesis because of the volume bar. When it's a red candlestick, look at the volume bar, not a lot there. So there's not a lot of momentum for this to go down. So there will be a high momentum, high probability or a low probability that it will work in our favor. So canceling that thesis. Nvidia having a pullback here. Wow. Wow. So we only have two trades, AMD and CCL. CCL is almost just a break-even trade. I just went all out. I didn't like that there's no follow-through that's happening. Plus, I got all out right here. So this entry right here doesn't give me the edge of where my support is going to be or where my stop loss is going to be. This is starting to get interesting. This is the, okay, very low float stock. 1.8 million. I don't want to trade this one. Looks like it's about to get halted, but yeah, very risky. All right, so we only get to trade 3 trades today. Oh, sorry, 2 trades today. Still waiting for another opportunity. So let's see if we can find more. Wow, Nvidia here falling like a rock. Wow, that should affect the SPY as well. So here, I will still consider this one to a short if we have volume bar that will support that thesis. But right now, look at the volume. There's no volume at all. So there would not be any momentum to support that thesis. Look at AMD here. Rejection. So let's wait for another support here, 56.47. And that is, yeah, same thing with NVIDIA. NNE, looks like this one halted, yeah. So this one moved from 33 all the way to 25. Yeah, it's not worth risking your capital on this high risk trade. All right, this is a very nice volume price analysis. Look at when we're pushing up. Look at the volume bar. Volume bar is not supporting that push higher. Hence, it got that rejection at that resistance 58.41. CCL. Glad we got out of this because yeah, it also had that pullback. Rivian here still moving higher. But yeah, I don't think there's any more any good stocks to trade at the moment. SPY is still an inside bar. We are in that time of the day, 10:20, where it's just most of the stocks that we're watching is just under consolidation. Tesla having a pullback. Rivian about to create a high of the day. High of the day, wow, 11.47 for Rivian. Although NVIDIA rolled over, AMD looks like it had found the support at S4 in the 5 minutes. Alright, so if we don't find any other stocks to trade in the next 10 to 15 minutes, then yeah, we'll just do our recap. I'm just watching what Rivian is doing. CCL. So with the CCL, so we like a 9 EMA setup, but that 9 EMA setup is already broken. So this is the 9 EMA where you have a big gap up and then you have a pullback. It tests the 9 exponential moving average. You go long here, which I was a bit late and was able to capture that little bit of a move. Just enough for me to dig myself out of the hole with this false 9 EMA trade. But now, since we got that rejection at 17.45, now retesting the 9 EMA again, the more times you test that support, the more times, the higher probability that that support is going to be broken. That's why I don't want to do another 9 EMA trade here, because second time around, lower the probability that it will move in our favor. This one was the one that was halted earlier, where a lot of capital is getting crushed. Imagine if you get to be wrong side of the trade here from 21 to 32, almost $10 move. Yeah, too risky for me. I don't like that. This is the reason why we did not enter this trade, because you can already tell that it's going to go under consolidation because there's no volume bar. If there's no volume bar, even look at the comparison here, you have a big volume bar here, and then you don't even have volume here at all. If you don't have any volume, there's no momentum to push that or to make the move. AMD found the support. So AMD found that support right here, but that's a high risk now. Yeah, the low risk trade for AMD was when we were in this 15 minutes. You got the doji, you got the big rejection, the doji, which is the reason why we were aggressive with this trade. But this is the second time that it's retesting that support. Second time around makes it less probability that it will go in our favor. Rivian went all the way to 11.5, got resistance right there. Rivian, do they have news? 6:24. So yesterday, Investor Day. Wow. Those Investor Day. There's really not a big catalyst for Rivian, which doesn't excite me. So answered this telemarketer, and interesting enough, what they did now is you don't even have an option to drop the call. So I have to like reboot my phone. Yeah, telemarketers now has a very interesting way of bugging people, even having those AI recorded lines. But anyway, so I can't find anything else that's interesting at the moment. Um, yeah, AMD looks like it's about to run here. It is, it went all the way up and broke the resistance here, but it's just overextended for me right now. So I am not going to be trading any more of that AMD. I think we got a nice move when we initially traded it using the 15 minutes. So, you know, you need to know your setup, you need to stick with your setup, and that's how you're gonna create and see consistency with it. So for me, although AMD looks very enticing, but it looks very overextended for me. So I am not going to be trading that. All right, so look at this move right here. So good morning, everyone. It's June 25th, 2024, 10:30 in the morning. We traded less than an hour today, came in a bit late, but we were able to find a setup and do our two trades for AMD as well as CCL, and we are calling it a day. So what we have seen is SPY is an inside bar. So looking at the daily, very important that we get to check what the SPY is doing. In that way, we get to see as well what the potential move our individual stocks are going to do. So if SPY is doing an inside bar, then most likely those that mimics the move of a SPY, which is AMD, NVIDIA, other tech stocks, even Tesla, can mimic that little bit of a move of a SPY. So if a SPY is an inside bar, then most likely we are going to be on a range bound kind of day where, let me just get my pen, where our movement is going to be just inside yesterday's candlestick. So that is the range bound kind of day. It is just inside like this. With a range bound kind of day, it is a bit challenging just because you need to first you need to enter a trade right at the support and the resistance. If that support and resistance is invalidated, then you will incur a loss. With a trend kind of day where, let's say, a SPY open all the way up here, so it's a gap from this level all the way up, then this has a potential for this to keep moving higher. The momentum is there for this to go even higher. Those are the easy kind of day. Those are the days that you want to be aggressive enough to enter with a good amount of share size. Of course, those share size should still be based on your risk management, based on your strategies. So given that SPY is an inside bar, we were just looking for, you know, that scalp trade. What we saw was when we were doing a level, so AMD, our pre-market high is at 161.3 with a pre-market low of 159.21. It had this huge candlestick all the way down to 156.54, and the high of this candlestick is 160.99. So that is a move of around $6. Now AMD, just looking at the daily here, highest time frame that a day trader can see is the daily. Of course, you can always look at the weekly, but that's no good for an intraday traders like us. So what I saw was, all right, it moved all the way to 156. So 156.55, which is 156.55 is this level. Now we are not anymore an inside bar. We went way below the levels of yesterday's candlestick. The levels yesterday is this, right? So we are way below that. The next support that we were looking at, which we were putting our lines at, is okay, next support, there's 155 there, but of course you would like to look at the closest one. So the support right here was this top of this candlestick, which it already broke as well. So when I saw that it is looking overextended in the 15 minutes, that one is a $6 move, and certainly AMD cannot just keep going lower, so that gives me the opportunity for a scalp trade. So what I did was looking at the 15 minutes, looks like we are heading, or we have a potential for a bounce. Now that thesis, as always, is always just going to be a 50-50. You cannot tell that since it's a big candlestick that it will stop going down. It will always be a 50-50 chance, 50-50 probability. We like hearing probability better than chance. Chance sounds like gambling, so let's stick with the word probability. So when I saw with the 5 minutes that we are encountering that support, 156.46, and we are going higher high, higher low, at the sign of reversal, let me zoom that in, we went long. Okay, so first sign of reversal, let me just make sure that we can see that this candlestick right here is a red candlestick, right? So where is the first sign of reversal here? Although this one looks like a doji, that is a red candlestick when we zoom in. Just to make a point, yeah, that's a red candlestick. All right, so first sign of reversal, you have the white candlestick there. Although I would rather have a small white candlestick or a green candlestick for those of you who's using green for a push higher. For my chart, I make it simple, so I make it white. First sign of reversal, I went long. Now, I don't like this entry just because look at where my entry is. So entry here, first sign of reversal. So just above this candlestick, I'm using this candlestick now. And of course, bigger picture is I look at the daily first, the 15 minutes. So stop loss here is the low of the day. As soon as I entered, of course, you got that red candlestick, but that's okay because my stop loss is below the support. Very important that you put in a stop loss that is not as obvious, just because if my stop loss is right where this low of the day is, then look at what the market maker did. It could have stopped me out when it retested that level. That's why I just used a lower stop loss than the obvious one, because I don't like the market maker to just stop me out before the move happens. So I entered there. As soon as I saw that it retested the support and it did not break that support. The support was so strong that as soon as it tested that support, surge of buyers went through, and that's why you were left with this candlestick. As soon as I saw where the tape is, what the tape is doing, it's printing lots of greens, and there's a bunch of orders sitting at the ask, which is very bullish. I added to my position because now we are encountering that strong resistance, and as soon as we break off of the VWAP, I add to the position. So now I'm just trying to build this position, and once I build up that position, then next candlestick we got the pushed higher. Now we were encountering this strong resistance for a while, and that is the VWAP. So as soon as I add here, I know that that's just a scalp trade. So it broke the new support or new resistance right here. As soon as it broke that new resistance, I partialed again, because now we are encountering that 9 EMA. So that's how you partial. So partial, and then the next candlestick there is now above the 9 EMA, just trying to partial there. But what I did not like is we are encountering a very strong resistance. Once it reached that 158.45, it keeps getting that rejection in a way that I don't see prints of orders in the tape that is above 158.42, 43. So if I don't see those prints right here, that means there is not a momentum for this to push higher. So that's why, okay, I partial again. And then at this point, rather than waiting for a print of above 158.4 when, it's just 10.10, I would rather look at different stock and see whether there's any other move that is happening at this first hour of the opening bell. I just put in my stop loss, and sure enough, I got stop out. Once I got stop out there, that one was at 10.10. Look at what happened here. So this is how you protect your trade. I got stop out, and then boom, there was a big red candlestick that happened. Now, given that it is pushing higher, but I don't want to be part of the trade where it is just consolidating. So went all out at this. That was I was about to call it a one and done trade for AMD, but I guess you can call it a one and done, although I did have to add and build that position right here and kind of partial here. But yeah, it is still a one and done with AMD because I did not open any other positions there with AMD. So at 10.10, now I just wanted to highlight here, look at the power of the VPA. If you guys haven't read the book, Anna Cooling, about VPA, volume price analysis, I highly recommend that you spend time reading that. It is very, very helpful with my trade. Imagine this, you can already see and get some hint that this is running out of steam when it is pushing higher. So we are heading higher, but look at what the volume is doing. Volume is depleting. So there's not enough momentum for this to push higher. Hence, there is that red candlestick that happened after the volume died. So that's the volume price analysis. You can have a real-time idea at least of what is the potential for that move. Is the move still gonna go higher or lower? If the volume is not supporting that move, then expect that it's either gonna reject that move or consolidate. At this point, it rejected and now it's just consolidating. So that's the VPA. Next one is CCL. CCL, this is one of our strategy, the one that we teach in the class. It's what we call a 9 EMA trade, where you have a very strong stock at the beginning of the day, which is a strong stock for us is a gap up of above 3%. So above 3% gap up, and that would hit the scanner. Once it hits the scanner, then you can already tell that if it's above 3%, then it is a strong stock and it has a momentum for it to keep pushing higher. Right there and then, you can already make a thesis that if it's a strong stock, then you will want to be bullish with that stock. So, all right, first, the way that you have the strategy is it hits the scanner, it's a gap up. Once it hits the scanner, it's a gap up, then you make your thesis. Gap up, obviously, I will be bullish. Then, what is the strategies that we have been discussing in the class? If it's a bullish gap up, you can either do VPA, opening range breakout, or 9 EMA, or a bull flag pattern. So we have discussed that thoroughly in the class. And for this CCL, what we did was a 9 EMA. So you have a huge gap up here, you get your almost a bull flag pattern right here. You have your pullback at the 9 EMA. This is your 9 EMA support. So you enter at support. You don't want to enter, a trade where you're going above the highest level unless you're doing an opening range breakout. But of course, that gives you a different kind of criteria. So you have to be very specific with your criteria, with your strategies. If the check mark that you have at the back of your mind is not got checked off, which for us, we have at least like 5 checkbox button that we get to rinse and repeat. If all those 5 checkbox button is not checked off, then it's so easy for you to just leave the trade and do not open a position. So for this one, okay, you have your 9 EMA, potential for another leg up. So we went long, and that's a 9 EMA. Again, any strategies, that's always going to be a 50-50 probability. So where's the stop loss? Stop loss is just below the 9 EMA. So we entered long and got stop out. So that's the name of the game. Not everything is going to be working in your favor, but that's the reason why you have to make sure that you have your stop loss. You have to make sure that you stick to your strategies, your risk management. So in that way, you can be consistent with your trades. So the next one, we were still in the middle of 9 EMA, or we were still in the middle of AMD trade at 10:10. That's why we were highlighting what time we finished the AMD trade. At 10:10, that's the time that I get to see CCL. Now, the best entry here at CCL is this level right here. And that's why I put that blue line right there. Why is that? Because our 9 EMA gives us that edge. You got your first sign of reversal, which is still at that 9 EMA. Where is your stop loss going to be? Stop loss is just below that candlestick, and that will give you a nice probability for this to go higher. So since I was in the middle of AMD trade, I was a couple of cents late, but still went long, added to my position there, a bit aggressive to the add here. The best strategy there is not adding at the VWAP, because the 9 EMA is so close to the VWAP that at the VWAP you should be taking some profit already at the VWAP. So with this, not the A+ setup, but entered long, added to my position, was supposed to partial, but I went all out. So that was my bad. So that's the reason why I re-entered, but I see that there is a big wall coming in. Wall meaning when I look at the tape, there's no, so this one is 17.4. There's no prints that is above 17.4. It always have that, okay, less than 17.4, less than 17.4. So you know that there's a wall there, and it's not giving you that push higher, or it will not give you that leg higher. So once you take a look at your tape, you look at, again, your volume price analysis, you are going higher, but your volume bar is getting lower. So that's the reason why I just went all out. So going all out with that trade, it was just a break-even trade. Big break-even trade, because this first trade right here was a red trade, although I was able to capture this one, but not a lot of movement, and that is just a couple of cents move. So with that, it was just a $60 trade. So just 2 trades, AMD and CCL, and with that, we are ending the day 2,700. And let's see if there's any other trades that we get to, or stocks that we get to trade. Rivian here is on a tear. Well, tear a couple of cents, not like, an exciting move like Nvidia. For Rivian, couple of cents is already a big move for them. Yeah, I was just looking at Rivian as well because I do have some long-term shares at Rivian. So planning to keep it there for a while. But yeah, Rivian looks good. So let's see what else can we trade. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, you want us to analyze any stocks that you guys have in mind, just please type it in the chat so we can analyze it together. So let's see. Tesla here. So initially we were thinking of shorting this stock, but we did not push through our thesis because of the volume bar that's dying. And yeah, still at this point, it is just stuck in that range. So the volume bar really will give you a big picture, big idea, a glimpse on what the stock can potentially do. We already been saying there's not a lot of volume bar, and hence that's where it is just consolidating. CCL here is just consolidating as well, so no trades to take there. So let's just do it one at a time. AMD as well is just consolidating here, so no trades to take there. What else? Tesla already had its move. It is pulling back at the VWAP. Now the VWAP can serve as a strong support or resistance. Right now it's acting as a support, but that can easily just get broken. Depending on the daily. Daily is just an inside bar, so you can just get chopped around here at the VWAP. So I wouldn't recommend any trades at this point, at this time of the day, most especially when you are just around the VWAP and you are just an inside bar. So no trades to take there. Nvidia, definitely no trade to take here. You are an inside bar. This move is inside yesterday's candlestick, and you can just get chopped around there, just like what SPY is doing. SPY is technically just flat. $1 move for SPY is nothing, and the daily there is an inside bar. So that's the reason why we'll just call it a day, because there's nothing interesting that's moving at the moment. Let's see, last one here is the low float stock. I did not even want to be involved with this trade because this is a high risk trade where, you know, we can just make it an easy kind of day where we trade the easy moves. For us, it's the AMD and CCL. Does not have to make it hard, make it complicated. You just want to stick to your strategy and rinse and repeat. So at NNE, very low float stock here, 15.6 million. So it had that move from 21 to 33. We don't really need that move. You can get that move as well if you're trading options, but I would discourage you from trading this low float stocks. ENVX is another low float stock of, let's see. Well, this one is 140 million, so not really. But float DJT, not really. RGS, this is the very low float stock here. A move from 12 all the way to 19. Be very careful with this. And it doesn't even look like it's shortable. If it's not shortable, you don't have that short squeezed factor in. So you might not have that pushed or that momentum for that to move higher if there's no short squeeze that is potential for that move to happen. So let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Wow, Rivian is still ripping higher here, but they don't have the news. I was looking at it earlier. This is just some host investor day, whatever that is. But I just like their cars, and yeah, looking good. So my entry with Rivian there for my long term was somewhere like 11.30 something. Yeah, I entered when it was in this level. So yeah, it's looking good for now. But that is for a long term. And for long term, I use Fidelity for that. So let's see. All right, so for those of you guys who's asking on where to begin, on where to day trade for a living, please feel free to check our website out. It's called eCourse Unlock, and with that website, you can certainly check, our trading strategies. We even give it to you guys for free. It is at least a 20 pages PDF form that you can download for free. You just need to put in your email ad so we would know where to send it. Also, we are venturing out to real estate. So with everything, you would like your portfolio to be, to diverse or, your portfolio. So now we are into real estate as well as day trading. So whatever profit we get to day trade, then we invest it into a tangible asset as well, the one that has a long-term effect, and that is real estate. Now with the day trading, our syllabus is also located here, so you can see what kind of strategies we're doing, as well as trade reviews there, conclusion is there. Now we add to the content daily, so learning never stops. So you can check that one out. And we even have this recommendation on those people who's just a starter in day trading. So these are the equipments that we get to use. So with that, thank you so much guys for watching. We'll do this again live on Friday. So yeah, this Friday I will be doing live again. So we'll do a live trade Friday. And of course, every Tuesday we are trading live. So with that, thank you for your time. And I hope you guys had a green trading day. If you do have questions, please feel free to email us, and we are more than happy to help you guys out. Thank you, and see you next Friday.